So you probably gathered a little bit from past presentations that MSU Extension just doesn't do agriculture, right? We do a lot of programming to support communities in a lot of different ways. And what that means is we also have a lot of different people that work for our organization. They all have very different jobs. And then I'm tasked with trying to organize professional development for people that have vastly different jobs. All right, so I'm going to talk today about what we call our core competencies. So what these are broad and inclusive skills that provide scaffolding or support for how our employees can succeed. And I'm going to talk about how in reforming our core competencies caused us to kind of rethink the model of professional development that we want to follow. Let's see what button here we go. But before we get going with that process of core competencies and how we went through that, I want you to think about a meeting that you're in. Or even think about this meeting right now. Does everybody in the meeting for a project have the same skills and background? No, right? So you're at a meeting and you're dealing with maybe a researcher, an instructional designer, all these different people. And so what kind of skills do you need to succeed on that project? In that case, it's really about skills that span everybody, right? So when we're talking about core competencies, that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about the type of skills that somebody or an organization needs to have to succeed, to work together as a team, and to work across disciplines, not just within one's discipline. So what that brought us to was the concept of the T-shaped professional. Has anybody seen this? This was something that IBM came up with in the early 2000s. And after that, Michigan State University's leadership kind of started developing it. But the idea is when you're conceptualizing how to train people, how to conduct professional development, you have a top bar, that's the top of the T. And those are what we consider our core competencies at MSU. So those are skills that span every position. Here's an example, educational delivery and technology. We have Gwen Sheely here with us. She is our educational technology specialist. Everybody at MSU Extension has to at least have basic skills. We use, for example, Zoom video conferencing. Everybody in the organization needs to know how to use that and use it well. And then we also have educators that are developing online courses. They need a deeper level of knowledge and that competency. So that's the model that we're starting to move towards, and those are the competencies that we have newly identified that we believe everybody at MSU Extension really needs to have these competencies to work together as a team. Beyond that, we have the I. So this is an example using me, right? My job is all about professional development, it's about teaching, learning. I need to know best practices in new employee onboarding. I need to be current in the latest research on adult learning theory. And I need to know instructional design because a lot of what I do is online. Now, somebody that works in the fields with maybe a crops educator, they might need to know something like pesticide application. I don't know that, right? So that's what the I is. That's the stuff that's specific to your specific position. And the point is, both are important. So at MSU Extension, the top there, those again are core competencies. Those are generally trainings that we provide through our organizational development team. There's other sources of trainings too. But we have a team at MSU Extension that focuses on these different areas. Like I mentioned, Gwen does educational technology, I do teaching and learning. We have people that do diversity and inclusion. So these are usually provided in-house as training, but sometimes we find other training sources as well. And then the deep learning, this is going to be really individualized. I think that we've already mentioned, I don't remember who mentioned, we don't have generalists with educators. They're very specialized, right? When we have somebody that's what you might consider a field agent or an extension agent, they're out working in a very specific area. So their training isn't something that really we can professional associations, things like that. So sources of training, I just mentioned we have the top level, which is ourselves. So you've gathered that we have a lot of different positions at MSU, and we do a lot of different things, not just agriculture. An example would be of using our own people would be we have, to go back to Jeff's example, we have a team that works on social and emotional and mental health. They do a series called Stress Less with Mindfulness. Now normally this programming is for the community, but I looked at it and I said, oh my God, I need that, you need that, you need that, you need that. Like everybody in this room probably could benefit by learning strategies to be more mindful and to be less stressed out. So I'm working with that team in that case to take our external programming to turn it inwards. So that's something that you might want to think about. What talents do you have in your organization? Are you only using them to reach out, or are you using them to turn people? Now, MSU has 50,000 students, 10,000 plus faculty and staff. So we also have, we're very fortunate, we also have that as a resource to train our people. We have amazing academic departments, we have an incredible human resources organization. So we also use that for training. And then of course we have the very typical things that we all think of when we think of professional development. Now we also have a mentoring program, and this is something that we institute for the vast majority of our employees. So when somebody comes into the organization, we have coordinators for the different institutes. That coordinator actually, their job is to know the people in their institute really well and to find a mentor. They fill out forms, both the mentor and the mentee. They try to make a match, and we ask them to meet regularly, and then we actually follow up with them. And that's really important. If you do mentoring programs and you don't follow up, it's not going to always work. Because at 2 months, for example, we'll do a survey. Have you met with your mentor? How's it going? What are you doing? What are you learning? And you get a lot of information that way. And then we do the same thing at 6 months and 12 months. So the last few things I want to talk about is basically the why for professional development. Now, we all know the obvious why is you have to be able to do your job. That's a given. But there's also a lot of research that shows that if you do professional development well, and that means you're providing the right content at the right time, using the right delivery mode, if you're doing it well, you're going to increase employee engagement. So for example, at MSU Extension, our educators, they usually last with us for, the average is 13 years. And that's a professional position. Now, across the U.S., the average turnaround would be 7 years. So we're doing well, right? Our people are staying with us. Now we want them with us forever. And also professional development gives them a sense of self-efficacy, so it makes them have a strong belief that they can succeed. And then the last idea is when you're training people, you have to think of the future, not just the gaps of right now. So succession planning. So someday Jeff is going to retire, right? Who's going to take his job, right? So you want leaders training so that they can move up into these positions. So that's succession planning. And then also future preparedness. And that's because things change really fast, right? There is this idea of a half-life. Now, a half-life is the amount of time it takes for something to decrease in value by 50%. Let's imagine we're talking about the thing as your job skills. Go back in time, 1970. What do you think the average half-life of professional skills was? 2 years, 20 years, what do you think? No one? Come on, it's after lunch, wake up. Go ahead.
5 years.
5 years in 1970? 10 to 15 years. So what that meant in 1970, between 80 and 85, 10 to 15 years later, half of what you knew in 1970 didn't matter, okay? The latest research they did in this was actually 1990. They haven't done it in a while. What do you think it was in 1990? No, you can answer it. Woo! 3 to 5 years. So, and now it's 2019. Can you imagine? What do you think it is now? We don't know, but we can guess, right? Right. So if it is I doubt it's 6 months, but let's say it's 2 years, then half of what I know now in 2 years means nothing. Okay? So I just wanted to leave you with that thought about professional development that, one, you have to think about how to conceptualize it so that you're training not just for the position, but to work across teams, to work within the organization, to not just be effective in your discipline, but to cross disciplines. And number two, when you're doing professional development, it's not just about what Anne doesn't know now, it's about what I need to know next year. And that's all I have. I hope I stayed under 12 minutes. I really tried, did I?
Yes.